Hey guys, it's Jasmine. Welcome back to my channel. Today's card is going to be a really fun, really easy, really technique blending card. We're going to start out with some ink blending, and I'm using Mermaid Lagoon and Wilted Violet from Distress over a scrap of Bristol cardstock. This cardstock is super smooth and it's super bright white. It's really lovely for ink blending. It accepts it well. It's super smooth gradient between colors, and it's kind of changed how I do my ink blending. I used to do on Nina, which is a good cardstock, don't get me wrong, but the Bristol's so much better. I have yet to find a technique I can't do on it other than things like watercolor. So I've got my colors going on, and as you can see, I go back and forth between each color to layer it and to get that smooth transition between the colors, so I get my third color that happens when you blend. So if you're having trouble ink blending, use light pressure and use layers. Those are the two best pointers I can give you. If you're using super hard pressure, you're going to have more marks on your paper and in your ink, because your tool's not going to float as smoothly over the paper. It's not going to glide as smoothly. So lighten up your pressure and then just go over it back and forth between your colors and you should be fine. So I'm going to use this Blessed die from Simon Says Stamp after I let this dry. And I'm going to use a shimmer spritz from Imagine Crafts. This is a really light, really sparkly spritz mist, and it doesn't leave spots in the distress, which I like, but it puts on a really fine silvery shimmer. So I've got two kinds of fun foam. The first one is the stuff you buy in the single sheets. It's like 99 cents at Hobby Lobby. And the second one is the one you can get in the multi-packs. The multi-pack one is probably half as thick as the single sheets. And if you're having trouble doing the die cutting with foam, try the thinner kind. I first tried this with the thicker one and it didn't work. There wasn't enough pressure or depth in the die to cut through the thicker foam. So I did it again with the thinner foam, and it worked perfectly. So I run it through my die cutting machine, and I go back and forth over it 3 or 4 times just to make sure I get all the way through. And my fun foam is covered with Stick It sheet adhesive on both sides to create a sticker out of it. So I peeled my backing sheet. You can see that it didn't quite cut through the sheet, the backing paper, but it cut through the foam and my cardstock just fine. I didn't have to do any trimming or cutting or snipping. It came out slick as a whistle. So I'm going to set that aside while I work on my front panel. So this is a sheet of Bristol. And I first cut it out with a stitched rectangle die, and it comes out to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I used a We Are Memory Keepers Shatter 3D embossing folder on it, and I left the bottom portion out, so I did it on the diagonal to give me space to stamp my sentiment. And I really like the texture and the look it gives. So I've got some Delicata Golden Glints pigment ink, and I'm going to do some ink blending with that. And I want it to be a gradient, so I want it to be solid gold at the bottom and then thin out as it goes across. And you want to use really light pressure with this so that the raised edges on the embossing part catches the ink, but the debossed, so the deep parts, don't. So it'll fade up into white. And this is a PTI Simple Star stamp set, and I'm going to use this top sentiment. If that was too fast, it says, "If I had a star for every time you made me smile, I would be holding the entire night sky in my hand." And I thought that went really well with the Blessed die cut. So I'm stamping that down a couple times using Versamark. And the Delicata pigment ink dries really quickly, so you don't have to worry about heat setting it. But I did use a powder tool on this just to make sure I had clear lines in my sentiment, because this is a smaller print, so it just helps you make sure that it's clear and easy to read. So I'm going to heat set that using my embossing tool, and I let it run for at least 30 seconds before applying it to my paper, and that ensures that I don't get warping. So next I'm going to adhere my ink blended sentiment die cut. You just got to pop out all the little chads in there. And I've also mounted my front panel to a top folding card base using some score tape. So I've pressed down my die cut, and then I'm going to use sequins from Starshine and what was the other one? Iridescent White, and those are both from Little Things by Lucy's Cards. I'm going to just place my sequins and my stars down just kind of randomly. And then I will adhere those with some Ranger Multi-Matte Medium. And I like that medium specifically because it dries matte and it dries clear. So if you get any squishing out from underneath the sequins of the stars, you won't see it. And this would also be a really good masculine design if you maybe left off the sequins and did the blast die cut and just plain black cardstock. I think that would be really stunning for a masculine card. So that pretty much finished up the card. I'm going to go ahead and adhere all my sequins and stars down, and then we will be complete. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to see next. If there's specific techniques or certain products you want to see, let me know and I'll see what I can do to accommodate. Thanks for all the support, you guys, and thanks for watching my videos. I have fun making them, so I hope you have fun watching them. We will see you next time, and have a great day. Bye-bye.